Hi everybody. Today we are going to actually look at how to make a silhouette. And I know that we're a little bit excited because yesterday you were out shooting these silhouettes, and I'm sure you had a great deal of success. If you look at this image, what I want you to notice is we've got a very clear separation between the foreground subject, which is my niece, and the background subject, which is the sky. You've got some nice leading lines that bring you to the subject, but what I want here is to make her a silhouette. That means I'd like to make her completely black against a background of my choosing. So let's get to it so that we can actually do this. Now, what I've done here is I've created a couple layers. One is what you would call your background. I called it background 2, and the reason I called it background 2 is I did a little work on this image before, and in doing some work on that image I just pumped up the colors just to show that yeah, I can enhance this image. I'm not stuck with where I started. I can actually work on it and create something that has a little more punch to it. So any image that you ever have that you're working on, you can do lots and lots inside Photoshop. So I duplicated the layer, and if you forget how to duplicate, I'll show you real quick. You drag the layer right down here. Click and let it go, and it will pop up and you'll get a new layer. I'm just going to go Control Delete, or I'll just drag that one to the trash because I've already got my silhouette layer and I've named it silhouette. And see if you can spell that correctly when you make your layer. All right, let's get to this. We're going to use a couple tools. And the first tool that we're going to use today is the magnetic lasso tool. Underneath, I'll just click off, underneath this third tool down, you're going to have a choice of, and the shortcut key is the L key. So I'll just show you. If you're sitting there and you click the L, it goes to that tool. And if you want to just move through them, Shift L, Shift L, Shift L. And we're going to work with, I'll just show you all three real quick. The lasso tool, this allows you to just make a selection, and it's not looking at the pixels that are underneath it or anything. It's just looking at how you've used your mouse and where you've made that selection from that. The next tool is the polygonal lasso tool. This one gives you straight lines. So if you were doing an architectural image where you're going along, say, a bridge, and you needed to select that bridge based on the architectural lines, this is the tool for it. Notice I can click. I get to that second point, and if I just double click, it automatically takes a line from my last point to the origin. Click once, it kind of deselects everything. Okay. Oh, that's in the other tools. Okay. So the next one is the magnetic lasso tool. Now, what I love about this tool is, I'll just click off here. Oh, it's actually leaning in. Okay, Control D. Control D is the one that will get rid of any of your selection. What I love about this tool is it looks for the greatest area of contrast. So if I am trying to select the girl, I can actually start at a point, and as long as there's a great deal of contrast between the edge of what I'm trying to separate and the edge of what I don't want in the image, it'll be selected really well. Now I get to the junction between her dress and her arm, click once. What this does is it defines that point and allows me to move in a different direction against a different color background without the program getting confused. So I'll just move carefully down the side. I don't have to be too careful, but I have to remember that, you know what? The program is only as good as the work that I'm doing. Now I get down to the edge and I get real close, click once. I come outside the image, click once, come all the way across. Now you'll see the bottom kind of gets messed up a little bit. We can fix that a little bit later. Click once, drag up along the front of the dress. Okay, click once, right there. Click once here. And we'll do the best we can with her hair. Whoops. There we go. Let the program do the best it can. Okay, so here's a new transition point. Click, drag down, get near the bottom, click once, come outside the picture, and click. Okay, so I've got her completely selected. Now, what I think I would like to do is, let's go image, or let's go layer, new layer via copy. And what that does is it puts her completely on a separate layer. Now, what makes this powerful is the changes that we can do to this layer can happen really quick. What I'd like you to do is on your keyboard is look for the command key or the control key, hold it down and just click on the thumbnail and notice that the marching ants all come up again. Well, we've got her selected. So now that I've got her selected, a simple way is go edit, fill, and guess what color I'm going to fill? Black. And there we go. We've got a silhouette of our person. That's a pretty basic way, and I'll just go Control D. That's a pretty basic way of creating a silhouette. Now I could create a background. I can create a new layer. I'll drag this underneath, and let's call this color. And what I'll do is I'll go Edit, Fill, and I'm going to fill with a color. I'll just go to Color. Now it gives me a choice. I think I'll go with a blue. I like blue. And go OK. So I'm starting to create some kind of an ad. But this is the way we can create our silhouette. Now it's not perfect. The edges just are they're good, but they're not perfect. You can see problems in here. And we can go over some of the, I'll go over a more complicated method, but I'll show you how to clean those up right now. So I'm going to select that layer and I'm going to zoom in on these rough edges. Select your brush tool and make sure your foreground is set to completely black. So what I do is I just drag, I click and I drag all the way down. Even if I go off of the dialog box at this point, I know that as long as all of these are 0, I'm going to get black. And there it is, black. Okay, and the brush size is way too big, so left bracket key, and if you remember, that's on the just to the right of the letter P on your keyboard. And if you notice, if I paint, I'll just zoom in even closer, you can see that that transition is really soft. Control Z. That's not what I want. So just right off the bat, right click and change the hardness to 100%. Now before you click anywhere, either click in the black or click off the screen. Okay, so start right here, click once and drag down. There we go. So we're going to get a more consistent edge. Okay, and I'm going to hit the space bar, drag up. So that space bar, left mouse, and then I can move around. Okay, I'm going to show you another trick here. So I want to fill this in, but I don't want to be filling it in randomly. I want to make sure that I'm getting all of my points. So I'm going to come right over here. I'm going to look at the apex there, and I'm going to click once. I'm going to come over here and say, I want it to end kind of like this. Before I do anything, hold the Shift key down and then click. And what happens is it draws a straight line from the last point I clicked to the new point that I am clicking. But I have to hold the Shift key down at the point I am now clicking. So it's not quite perfect. So let's do this again. I'll go to this apex, click right there, and I'll come up here and I'll hold the Shift key down. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And mouse, and I will drag around. Okay, I've got another one right here. So see, I'm trying to get to that top point. Click, and I'm thinking that I'll do it there. Shift, click. So that looks pretty good, nice and clean. Okay, Control 0, zoom out. Let's look at her hair a little more. Okay, that's not too bad. That's a good start. And again, we've got the problems down here at the bottom, so I'll zoom in here and I'll show you what I would do with that again. I'll make my brush bigger because I'd like to do this in one shot. So I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to shift, or sorry, I'm going to space bar, and I'm going to move all the way over to here. I'm going to hold the Shift key down now and click. And that filled in the whole bottom. So we now have a silhouette. What we could do is I could grab the gradient tool and grab the one that says radial gradient, and I'll change the color here. I'll click on the gradient tool and I'll say, you know what, let's go with something crazy like blue, red, and yellow. Favorite colors. I'll do this on a new layer and I'll call it crazy color, and I'll start in the center and I'll drag out to the edge, and whoa, that gives us crazy colors. Now I could reduce the opacity of that, just give it a little bit of flavor, or I could change the blend mode. And by changing the blend mode of that layer, I can change how that layer interacts with the blue layer below it. So we can lighten it. We can do an overlay. Yeah, that looks pretty slick. So I can just make it a little more subtle. So there we go. So that's our first step, and I'll come right back. Okay, so we've got our silhouette put right here. What I'd like you to do is go to layer 1, and on the right hand side, don't click on the thumbnail, which is this little part. Don't click on the word layer 1, but click on the blue part just to the right of it, or double click. Now I'd like you to pick the word outer glow. If you just click outer glow, you can see that there's a little yellow line that goes around your silhouette. I just don't want you to just to click that. I want you to select it. So we click so that the word outer glow is in blue. And then what I'd like you to do is make sure that you change your blend mode to normal. And let's just bring this down here so you can see it. Keep the spread at 0, make the technique at softer, and grab the size and just drag it out. And there we go. And we'll just hit OK. So this is our silhouette image, and it's turning into an illustration more than it's turning into anything else. Okay, now that we've had a chance to play with silhouettes, I wish you luck with your techniques. I will build one more tutorial that will come after this if you want to look at a very complicated mask that you can build, and it is an advanced technique. This should get you through your assignment, but if you're looking for the extra skill level, you're more than welcome to watch the next video.